Hey y'all, welcome back to the channel, Spirit Journey of the White Cherokee. They call me Jake, just share spiritual knowledge from experience, and that just means the totality of my knowledge, training, and experience channeled through my perspective, which was also a creator of my perspective of life, of spirit, of connection, of creation, and of the creator. Because long ago, people were re-educated away from their energetics, away from the electrical charge that is in our atmosphere, in our biosphere. We're just kind of disconnected from it. The only species on the planet that's disconnected from the nature of themselves. That's means we got a whole lot of pieces and parts within our vessels that denies us the proper communication, with our creation, with our environment. Long ago, all the holy texts will tell you, long ago, mankind used to be able to communicate with the animals, with the plants, with the environment. Used to be able to feel what was needed, what was in lack. And that's been severed. And the Kundalini, which is what I've been talking about in these videos, that's your life force energy. It's just an old, I believe it's a Sanskrit word, ancient term. It just means the energetics flowing through your body. You have the ability to amplify that. And I don't mean like get in there and lift weights and, all that stuff. Absolutely not. I'm talking about breath work. Putting your knowing back within yourself that you are a being of light connected to the Creator at all times. So it's harnessing that knowing, grounding it back into the vessel, and then elevating that confidence. And that will help on all aspects of life that you put your focus and direction into. But where you take it and how long you're doing it, see, all that stuff plays a key role. Because when you first get that dose, that first awakening, it's a huge motivating force, creative force of energy. And if you're able to channel it, you don't have a whole bunch of kickback, then you can ride those elevations, and you can groove with a timeline. It's like your best timeline, but you can feel when things fall into place for whatever next action you need to make or decision you need to make, or even next person you need to contact about something. But it's you start hitting conflicts, whether they're internal or external. The internal conflicts are where a lot of hindrance comes, because it can send you from a highly motivated, awakened experience into a deep, dark night of the soul, where you are just heavily weighed down with introspection of things you've done in your past, things that have been done to you in your past, why you are the way you are, why you are where you are. I mean, just all kinds of stuff. So there's red flags, there's ways to manage that energy to keep it harnessed for your best interest and your best quality of life. You are the beholder of your own will. So your free will is where you choose to shift your focus. And most people don't realize that it's even a choice. Their minds are just everywhere, sporadic, into whatever the next fad is, whatever the social group's into, whatever is getting the most likes, whatever. It's just all this just stuff, just non-important stuff. It's not significant to spiritual growth. And the Kundalini, the vessel is aware of that. And as your Kundalini, your life force energy elevates, and you expand awareness into your vessel, you're going to start finding that stuff out. You're going to have major priority shifts. You're going to start grounding in nature a lot more. Your curiosities of nature are going to intensify. It's a whole path of discovering this whole side of oneself, one's natural, authentic self, natural, authentic expression, that's been hidden for one's whole life until they reach that point at whatever level it comes to you at. Most people, it's just chalked up to like a midlife crisis kind of thing. Other people, not so much. Other people have massive awakening, spikes in energy through traumatic experiences. Others are already predisposed to the energetics of the body and are nestled in some kind of belief system that aids them in massaging and getting to know those energetics. And so they have a huge leg up. They have a lot of help, a lot of grounding, a lot of foundation in comprehending what is already happening within their vessel. But most of us do not have that awareness, and we find ourselves in situations, extreme situations, that we just have to figure out how to deal with on the fly. And that's what happened to me anyway. It was just bam. It started in small waves. I mean, I experienced elevations for quite a while prior to the full-on awakening, but it's still, man, that full-on awakening. I mean, it's an electromagnetic force. For me, it pinned me straight to the ground on my knees. You can just feel the surge just moving straight through your body. I found myself engulfed in golden light, and it was just pure knowledge. It's majestic, absolutely majestic. And and there's people that like to monitor my videos because they want to gauge my sound-mindedness. I've been studying this stuff for over a quarter of a century. So anybody needing to gauge my sound-mindedness because they have some kind of agenda to whatever their agenda is. I don't want to go down that rabbit hole too deep. Just want to know y'all got a whole hell of a lot of studying to do before you can even dare to step into the ring with my knowledge base when it comes to spiritual energetics, neurological dynamics, metaphysics. You just got a long way to go. I kept it all extracurricular for me, my personal time, things that I was doing because of how tapped into my Cherokee roots I've always felt, experiences I've had growing up that I couldn't explain, and nobody would even bother to listen. They just chalk it up to a kid's imagination and, deny you any kind of validation for the experience that you had. Just chalk you up into, you're just running your mouth again, go do something else. And so I had to find out for myself. I had to take my own journey. Hang on a second. My bad. Traffic doing weird stuff. Anyway, you take your own journey like that. You have to face yourself and your environment in a complete state of unknown, experiencing things on levels that you've never experienced before. Your sensory perception elevated to levels you've never experienced before, and energy dynamics happening that you're witnessing that is just so difficult to deal with, especially you start getting around a lot of people. Their energy will tell you one thing, their body language will tell you something else, and their words will tell you something else again. So it becomes really frustrating because we all live in a trinity, and when your trinity's not balanced, your communications to someone that has an elevated sensory perception becomes garbled because your physical, mental, and emotional bodies are all saying three different things, which means you're not a coherent being. You're not in a, I don't want to say that like, drunkenness, coherence. It's a coherence of flow, of frequency, of energetic flow. So it's not about your cognitive skills. It's about balancing your trinity so that you're speaking from an authentic place instead of just telling more people whatever shit they want to hear. People pleasing. Everybody's got to stop people pleasing and getting rooted back to their self. We've gotten into this chaotic energy dynamic to where all communication seems to be based in just making other people happy, like gratifying a toddler because it won't quit whining. And that's not very healthy at all. Hang on a second. So, it becomes very frustrating, and then most people don't have any awareness of Kundalini, of higher sensory perception, of any of that stuff. And so they walk, talk, and act in a state of complete unknowing, just allowing the ego to lead them into whatever direction the social club's going, and they just keep it going that way. That's why if you're in social groups, you'll realize that the conversation is always a revolving door. It's always the same thing. It's just a different day. It's always talking about the same kind of thing. So anyway, enough of that soapbox. It's whenever you have energetic experiences and you tap into those other angles of cognitive expression, all those routine, mundane conversations become, just very draining, and you don't have value for it anymore. You lose it. You start seeing it as just kind of pulls your energy down or pulls your energy away. And then when there's issues that arise in the regular social groups, emotional turmoil or whatever it might be, it doesn't get resolved. It usually gets ignored. I will say, though, that I have noticed, through my years of emergency services, I have noticed that the younger generations are able to, they seem to be able to resolve things, at least in my local area. They seem to be able to, they don't seem as judgmental. I'll put it that way. They're more accepting, which is pretty cool because ultimately, everybody's talking about love. So, ultimately love, the essence of love is simply unconditional acceptance. And for it to be love, it needs to be grounded in respect. So you ground it in respect. Hey, I respect you as a being. I respect your wishes. I respect, your walk of life, the path that you're choosing, the decisions that you make. I just accept you because I like being around you for however the energy connects. So it's real simple. You just respect another being and then just accept them for who they choose to be, and don't throw your judgment all up in their face. Offer knowledge, insight, if you've had experiences. People, they seek guidance, but it can be offered in a way where it doesn't have to be put forth as derogatory or anything like that. That way there's no shame. People don't get shamed into altering their behavior, because that is what has taken place in society and has been evolving for generations, is people being shamed into altering their behavior so that some other authority complex gets the behavior that they're looking for. They have the dynamic that they want to operate in. And it's manipulating the free will of the people, and it just don't need to happen. People need to wake up, wise up, get grounded back into their own being, That way they can move forward in knowing what's right instead of just following whoever's getting the most attention. You know, you got these people that are in Hollywood, big movie stars and everything. Those are entertainers. You know, their job is to entertain, which really means to like enter the mind and people. But yeah, it just is what it is. And but they need to realize that for themselves and just entertain. You know, just do your job, just entertain. You know, leave all your political influences and all your, you know, just all your BS drama. Leave it the hell out of the minds of the people. You know, don't use your power for a negative. Use it for a positive. Anyway, enough griping. I don't even know what I'm going to name this thing, but peace, y'all. One love and one light. Later.